Hi everyone. I'm going to frame this demo around two major areas, and I'll go through a couple of reports for each. So number one is domain maintenance, which I associate with users, groups, licenses, account activity, and quotas. And number two being security, which pertains to drive and sharing and privacy settings. So to get you started, we've built a number of canned reports, and those are based on the most requested and what we think to be the most helpful information. So that's everything that you see displayed on this screen. I'll go ahead and click into the Quota report. From here, you're brought into the report builder interface, and you'll notice a number of fields on the left. The reports are exported, they're generated as spreadsheets and exported to your drive. So the columns are really the meat and bones of that report, and you can basically determine the formatting using these, which headers you want to display and what information should be shown within. And then the filters are really just intended to allow you to have more granularity around your results. You can create exceptions and really pare down the information that you're going to be returning. So since this report is already built out, I'll go ahead and run it. And it's already named, so I just say yes, proceed, and it will appear in my drive shortly. When the report has finished running, you'll also get an email, and this will come from info@flashpanel.com, just notifying you that the report has completed. So going into my drive, this is going to be kind of like a cooking show in that I already have these reports generated just to save a bit of time while it imports. And here's the Quota report. So across the top are those columns that we chose, username, email address, and then all of this quota information as it pertains to both documents and mail. The neat thing about this being in spreadsheets is that you have available all of the different formulas and filters that you would usually use when kind of going through data. So for example, we could find out the percentage of document quotas. So we have the amount used over a total, but a percent is probably a more digestible number. So I can just enter a formula for that, which would be used divided by total. And then I'll go ahead and drag this down to everyone. And then to turn this into a percent, I can just click here to format as a percent. And to clean it up a little bit and to round those numbers, I could go into format, number, and then percent rounded. So my favorite feature in spreadsheets is this filter right here. And by turning it on, you have the standard sort of chronological or alphabetical filters, or you also have these more in-depth filters that allow you to show or hide any number of values that are in these rows. So we're really just concerned with people who are kind of close to their quota, so I'll only show these three. And then to do the same thing with mail, so I'll get rid of the really low users, as we're only concerned with those who are close to maxing out. So pretty quickly we have these top 4 users who are maybe close or getting closer to reaching their quota. So either you could notify them to kind of take action and delete some of these documents and emails, or you could go ahead and buy more space. So going back to the canned reports, now let's check out the inactive user report. And here are a few more filters. You can actually use these to define what is an inactive user to you. So maybe 2 weeks is long enough. You can change all of these. And then note the and or toggle at the top. So and would mean that it's matching on every one of these fields, whereas or would be just one or more of these is true. And again, we can run the report. And going back into my drive, here's this inactive user report. And there's a bit more information than the last report. But again, I recommend to first turn on the filters. And then since we're only concerned with those people who are not really using Google Apps, I'll go ahead and take away anyone who's active. So all of these suspended users, from them, maybe we'll check how long they've been suspended. Maybe this is too early to really take action. So I'll sort from latest down. And it's still been about a month since this last person's login. And given that they're suspended, it's probably safe to go ahead and delete all 4 of these people. And then you can recycle these licenses and prevent yourself from buying more right away. So now I'll take a stab at a custom report using the report builder. You'll notice along the top these 5 different report types, so users, groups, or OUs, drive, and drive policies. They all have slightly different columns and filters along here just as they relate to the information within them, but I'll take a look at groups. So maybe we would like to know which groups have external members. So to do that, I'll choose the name of the group, the email, allow external members, and also who can invite, who can join, and who can post. So as you saw, that's just a simple drag and drop to add those columns, and then if you hover over any of the text here, you'll get a little bit more detail about what this column means. Then we can also add in a filter too, so allow external members is true, and who can join is equal to anyone. So I'll go ahead and switch this to or. And we can run the report now or choose to save it, and it will appear under My Reports on the reports homepage, and you can run it again as many times as you'd like. And then let's run it. So scrolling through here, this is, again, more information than the last. You have the group name, email address, and then all of these settings about who can join and post and view the group. So we're only concerned with active groups since inactive groups probably aren't sharing very much. So I'll make inactive false, which would mean these active groups. Allow external members, true. And then who can join, this is the one that really counts, anyone can join. And then you can further set something like who can view membership to anyone. So these groups are about as publicly exposed as they can be given all of the settings. So you might decide to either change the group settings and kind of lock down more of those privacy options, or to just keep a closer eye on these groups and have a moderator. So that covers all of the reports pertaining to domain maintenance, and now I'll go through a couple on security. So first will be email forwarding, and this just lets you know which of your users are forwarding their mail from their Google Apps account to another. And there aren't very many users here, but again, this can be a concern because if these users are removed from your organization and their accounts are deleted, they'll still have a record of all of those emails and whatever the emails contain in the account that they forwarded to. Now let's take a look at Drive and maybe documents exposed externally. So a filter is already in place. These documents are exposed externally. Maybe we'll also add in a number of collaborators. And then once we run that report, it will look like this. And again, you have the title of all the documents along the left here, and we could scroll through and see a huge number of docs that are exposed externally. So maybe it would be helpful to notify all of these individual users about their documents that are exposed, and then have them just kind of take action on their honor and bring those back to compliance. So we could use the filter to sort these users A to Z, and then gather all of Billy Gates's document titles and write him a quick email to ask him to change all of these docs. Now build a custom report around Drive and security. This docs viewed in the last 14 days looks okay, but maybe I could customize it a little bit further to get to combine some information and maybe have documents viewed earlier than 30 days ago, and then also determine if those docs are externally shared. So I need to add that as a filter as well as a column. And since the title doesn't really apply, now I can type in, I can edit the title to read public docs shared within the last 30 days. So here's that huge list of documents. Maybe it's a little bit concerning if you receive something like this and notice how many docs that are actively being used are shared publicly. So most important is this exposure. So go ahead and lock it down to anything, just anything public or external. And then we can sort by last viewed. So this is going to be in chronological order, and you can see the last view date was April 4th. And again, maybe you want to exclude the president of your company. It's you don't care how he's sharing things, so go ahead and do that. And from here, with this information, you can go into Drive Explorer and search for these documents, and then actually remove collaborators or change their sharing settings to be within the domain or even private. I mentioned that the reports are saved, and this is where they live. So they're grouped by the tab that you made them in, and you can always click into these and run them as many times as you'd like. One other neat feature that can be used in regards to reports is the access control, and this allows you to delegate kind of selective admin rights to a particular user. Maybe your compliance department would like to be able to run reports, but they don't really need access to the entire application, as they're not creating email signatures or deleting users or setting up contacts. So in order to do so, you would set up an access control, and then I've actually been doing this demo in the access control view for reports, so that's why you notice a few of the tabs are missing here. This is all that person would see, just the section that you explicitly give them access to. So to set that up, let me go back into the admin view. And then this is what the standard menu would look like if that was a bit unfamiliar before. There are a couple of other tabs here, and then go into Settings and Access Control. And then here you can set that up. So we'll call it Reports. And then under the permissions, this lists out every single piece of the application, so just deselect whichever you don't want to give access to, which would be all except for the Reports tab. And then the last step is to select a user, so maybe we'll give Larry Ellison those rights. And save and apply. And like we saw before, this is where you would be able to view what that access control looks like, and it will be taken back to that screen that I was using earlier with kind of the sparser menu.